Well, these tools here, they're basically mostly my father's tools. And I do collect a lot of old tools, that type of thing. You know, I've been doing leather work since I was, could hold a tool, really. By the time I was in high school, you know, I went to work for the old Ernst Saddlery. And that was a great old shop. My father was the head saddle maker there for many years. I was also doing a lot of drawing and painting when I was a young man. And so I was going to go off to art school, but I realized I'd already learned a trade. And when I went off to college, I had my own time schedule. And I could do my own thing in the evenings and go to classes during the day. I make some of my own tools, and that's part of the creative process. If you can make your own tools, then you have more control over your imagery. These are my carving and stamping tools. That, you know, these are tools that I use to put the decorative cuts on the surface of the leather and so forth. Basically, when I start laying out something with leather, I mean, these are my drawing tools. So I've got a compass and a stylus. So basically, when I start tooling something like this, I will draw some circles on there, which is typical of what they call Sheridan style carving. There's a continuous vine that runs through the image usually. And then I will start tooling with a swivel knife like this. It's called a swivel knife because it has a swivel on top. That's a cradle for your finger. And you start carving and tooling with the knife. I'll grab this here that I can show you. This has been cut with your knife. So this is what the image looks like before you use your stamping tools. So once you cut that image in there, and you have your flowers and stems and leaves and so forth cut, then you start developing your stamping. And so you take a maul like this, and then these tools are pounded down on the surface. These tools are basically made out of nails and bolts. That's kind of a traveling set that I use. I've got several sets here in my home shop and so forth. But these tools are crucial if you're going to make a living as a leather carver and tooler. You have to not only have tools like this, you have to have machinery for sewing. You have to have proper working benches, and the lighting is really important. I've always, all my life, I've been involved with leather work, but I'm also a painter, so I've combined the two disciplines. So I do the painting as well as the carving and tooling. These are leather vessels that I've been building. Actually, I started building them about 5 or 6 years ago. I built one and then another one a little bit later. But last winter, to get ready for the show that we're having here, the pottery and the vessels and so forth. These vessels I stretch, I have forms that I stretch the vessels on, and it's hard to work those creases out and so forth, so you don't really see vessels like this too often. They're decorative vessels. They don't really have a utilitarian use, I don't think, but you could put dry flowers and so forth. But actually what they're for is just to display the shape and the tooling, the floral carving makes a very nice decorative element. I am doing these vessels in various shapes and forms, and there are collectors now that are picking these up. They have a nice, I think, a nice quality to them, and I enjoy building these. This is a carved leather panel. I do a lot of floral carving, like you see right here, but occasionally I like to do representative imagery, and so I put figures in the carving as well. And a panel like this just demonstrates what you can do in terms of designing a leather panel. incorporated figures with the floral work. The shared style of carving, it's all about floral carving, but the figure carving, it's nice to do that once in a while, and since I'm a painter and I work with imagery a lot, I like to incorporate the two. There's a lot of my work that deals with both the leather work and the painting, and this is a piece that I did a few years ago, and you can see that the piece of work is framed with the leather work. Now, I've done quite a bit of that over the years, and there are different types of frames, leather frames and things I've built, but I also actually paint on leather. You have to prepare the leather properly in order to paint on it. And so there are lots of pieces of my work that I've done over the last 30, 40 years where I've combined those two ways of working. I've done a lot of work painted on panels or on canvas. I did a large mural out in San Diego. It's 15 feet by 80 feet. It's on canvas. I did that about 30 years ago, and it's still there, and it's a big mural, and people let me know about it. So the mediums I use and the surfaces I work on are important to me. What I'm doing is taking elements from my direct experience, whether they be a trip to the Crow Reservation or working at King Saddlery there. I combine lots of elements from my direct experience into the structure of the panel or the painting panel or the tooling carving panel. It's all trying to deal with my everyday experience, working that into my work somehow. And I think people can get a feel for our culture in this area as well as my own experience